Hi, and welcome to the SCOM Workshop Week, Reporting and Dashboards, presented by Thomas Beck. A little about myself. I have more than 12 years experience with SCOM. I've developed more than 100 custom management packs and reports for the whole System Center suites. My current occupation is Subject Matter Expert at the Agency for Governmental IT Services in Denmark. And also, this is my first time as a SCOM tutor, so please excuse the rough edges, both on my presentation, but on the full experience really. So have a nice presentation. The agenda for today will be to build custom reports and dashboards. So in order to do that, we need to figure out how to find the data in the SQL database. Remember, we have two of those. Sort and refine the SQL data into the correct string so that we only present the data that we actually want to show. We need to import our refined query into Visual Studio, and then we need to import the custom report into Operations Manager. So these are the topics that I would like to go through today. Hi, welcome to SCOM. I'm Thomas Beck. I will be presenting this segment called Custom Reports and Dashboards. This is SCOM, as you know it. This is a 2019 SCOM installed on a 2017 SQL database. So this might not be SCOM as you know it, but it looks like SCOM as you know it. We have our active alerts, we have our computers. As you can see in this case, we have two computers. So this is not a big SCOM installation. It's very small. But this actually gives us enough computers to show our examples. So yeah. Now these computers have, for example, access to, you will always be able to open a performance view on any computer that you are collecting performance on. So that looks like this. So if you, for example, let's see what I have put in here. Here we have the processor time and we have the agent processor time. So this is, black one is agent processor time, and this is the processor time for the machine. So this is performance, and we can show how much time we want to show this for. 7 days, for example. It will show us for 7 days if we have data that corresponds with 7 days, so to speak. So yeah, so this is easy to go to performance. Problem is that it's only accessible for the SCOM administrator. You need to be able to go into the SCOM console. You need to open up. You need to know what to do. It's hidden, and it doesn't. It's not easy to give out to other recipients of information, or that people that might find value in this data. So how do we do that? Well, one thing we could do was to make a report showing the different aspects of data, and then we could, let's say, give the people the reports, and then they would be able to look at the data themselves, and you would be able to get back to making synthetic transactions with auto-correcting recovery states. What I've done is I have created reports. I've created these one, as you see here. It's a lot of reports, but they are all connected, and I'll show you how in a short while. To enable to use my reports, I need a thing that connects my reports together, binds them together like glue, you might say. In my case, this would be my fully qualified domain name. Fully qualified domain name will usually be unique in a database. It is at least unique in a Microsoft System Center databases, and this has been where most of my development time has been focused on. So, in this case, we'll take our SQL. I'll just take the fully qualified domain name here, copy it, go down to my reports, and I will choose the computer details one because it's my starting point. And I will put in my fully qualified domain name, and I will run it. Now it has run with the fully qualified domain name, and it gives me access to text underneath these. Now this is a quick report, and it's been hastily made together, so I didn't make error correcting the options or error catching options. So let's say that I started this up, and instead of using a fully qualified domain name, use the name Dominic. I'll just run it. And as you can see, it says SCOM Dominic Overview. Performance, press the name below. And it's very empty because it seems like, well, maybe SCOM didn't monitor Dominic properly. We'll need a management pack that goes in and checks up on Dominic in order to get data from the SCOM database. Kind of makes sense in a convoluted manner, if nothing else. So let's go back here. That was too far back. Let's just start up our operations console again. Yes, and then we have time to admire this pretty Windows background. A lot of time to admire this pretty Windows. Oh, there we are. Yes, cool. So, and there we are. Cool. If I go down to Reporting tab, and I go to my SCOMaton tab, and I go to Computer Details tab, and now I put in a fully qualified domain name, SCOMaton SQL1 int squareup.com. I run it. It looks different. Now it would be cool if I added something like we have data here, or a green red light, or whatever, but something that tells me if I'm able to use this. Did I input the correct the domain name that this is actually able to work with? Only thing I have right now is there a name or not, so that's not a lot, but okay. Anyways, it works by pressing the computer name. And then you have access to all the performance counters that SCOM are looking at for this specific computer. So in this case, it's a SQL server without the SQL management pack. So there is no SQL performance counters. Or so yeah. If I put in the SQL management pack, it will have the SQL performance counters also. And I will now show you this by showing you the specific counters that a management server has instead. I'll just find my management server here. This one. I'll copy the name. I'll go into reporting, and I will show you a bigger picture of performance from this one. As you see, it has the Ops Manager DB write action modules and the Ops Manager DW writer module. This is the data warehouse connections. So these are all it's collecting the alert time, average batch processing time, and stuff like that. And if I want to see it, I actually can, because I've made my report in a way that just shows me what I want to see. So in this case, it's errors a second, and we are at a flat 0. That's great. Let's look at some other data. Let's look at the system. No, that's boring actually. Processor time, yes. As you can see, here is our processor time. Down here is our date. So it's been collecting data like this for 10 days or something. That correlates quite good with how long my test environment has been up and running. So, yeah. Good thing about this is that it's actually performance on demand. I can look into this, I can go up, I can go down, and I can do it fluidly. But, you would say, Mr. SCOM man, don't they still need access to SCOM to use this? And unfortunately, as it is right now, yes, they do. So, what do we do about that? Well, the reporting services instance will be our answer. So if we go to the report server configuration manager and connect here, and we go to the web portal and connect here, we now can see the reporting services as it's laid out and through a browser. So if I go up here and I go to this one, we can now see what our recipients would be able to reach this functionality by. And then they're not using SCOM no more. They are instead using reporting services. So if I go back into SCOM, I will be able to take the fully qualified domain name once more. At some point I ought to learn how to write them from memory, but this is not this point. So I can now view the report, and as you see, it functions in the same way. I would say it's looking at slightly different due to the fact that this browser is formatting the text we look at in a different manner. So, but the data underneath is the same thing, and I will be able to look at my pages per second on memory side. I can say, hey, that is a large value. I want to change something, and then I can do that, and I can go back, and I can look at other stuff. So this gives interested recipients data on demand. Instead of instead of sending data out, we can now have them get the data they want on demand. So of course we can do the other thing. If this is all they're interested in, then we can just say, okay, if this is what you want, we can send this to you. So yeah, we can export it and we can send it, or we can do it in SCOM and we can actually schedule it in SCOM. So we can go out here and we can say, if this is what you want, you can get this one, I think. Yes, you can get it scheduled. Now this would be very, very funny, due to the fact that you can give people whatever they want. Actually, you can write whatever you want, so that's great. Pages will be fine, and I need how to deliver it. You could put it on a Windows file share. You can render it as Word, PowerPoint, Excel, comma separated values. If you want somebody else to be able to take this file and make a use it or whatever. So you have a lot of the opportunities here. Let's just call it test.pdf. Path would be path. Username password is, of course, if there is any type of Windows security on this file share. How often should you make this report? Well, it could be once a month, this could be every week, and so on and so forth. And is there any parameters on this report? In our case, it would be this one, because this is what we set up. So Scomaton would go to pages, would go to memory, so this makes sense. So I could finish it and I could schedule this. But I could also just give them access to it by browser. As you see, it's the same thing. So this is as close to living documentation as you get, because it will always show you what's the latest value from my thingy. So you can actually you can combine this, and you can take performance data from SCOM. You could take patch and update data from configuration manager, and you can take user data from service manager, who's the primary user. You could take uptime, how often are they working. There's so much data you can practically show a working profile of your employees, how often they are online, what they're doing, stuff like that. So let's never go down that dark path. But there is some both exciting and unexciting opportunities for using this software. So yeah, what you could also do is that you can go back to the computer details page. You can put in your qualified domain name again. You report, and you can look at the performance for the last 48 hours. Now I wanted to show you network bandwidth also, but I did not find the correct package that gives me network bandwidth. So it's just not available at the moment. Also, I made a typo there. But what I have shown you is CPU, memory, and disk, and in a one-pager. And with the opportunity of comparing these 48 hours with all the data collected on the item. So this is all the data, and this is the 48 hours. So we can see that the green bar would be the same data. So it goes between 4 and 6-ish here, and it goes between 4 and 6-ish here. It actually corresponds, which is great. The same thing is you can do with memory here. You got the memory bar, and then you got the memory bar from all times. You can see the server was restarted here. That's why it throws away everything, and then it starts eating, and then we restarted it again due to us perhaps installing stuff or something, and then it starts over again, and then it's been up quite ever since. And SQL loves to eat memory, so it's more and more hungry. It's like It's like my dog actually. It's kind of eating what it gets served. So that's nice. But yeah, these are things you can show and you can give your customers. So they have the access to look at their machines from different priorities, and you can actually start to get creative after this. Do you want to show them more things? Just add more things to this one, in essence. So, but how do we go about building these? Well, in order to show what the steps would be, we will need to start at the SQL server, and we can start here. This is the alert view. This could be something that you could add to this one you looked at before, but this will be what I'm looking at right now. So this is the alert view, and the alert view gives us data like this. Let me just close this one, and I'll take it from the beginning here. Yes. This is our SQL database. In this case, this is a very light setup. So we have the operations manager and the operations manager data warehouse on the same SQL server. Normally, these would be split out on 2 SQL servers in order to maintain a good performance. But this is just a test setup, so this is more than fine for us. But there are different types of data in different types of databases. So the operations manager is kind of like a live database. It'll show you what's happening now, and in the last week it will have very detailed data for a lot of things. After that, we have the historical perspective, which would be our operations manager data warehouse. Inside these views, you look at different things, such as month-long performance and stuff like that. So the data gets converted from being a very detailed live to a less detailed historic perspective. So this is why we have 2 databases. But inside our operations manager database, we have our alert view, and this is something everybody should know, because it shows us the alerts. And in this case, we have data warehouse, a lot of exciting alerts, and we have a resolution state, a priority, and a severity. Now it says 0, which is what does that mean? So let's take a look in SCOM. And in SCOM we can see that under our settings, under our alerts, we have resolution states. And if we can't, because that would be too easy, but we have 0 there. So so these are the resolution states we have actually. Okay then. So in essence, in here it says 0, because the database also has a field where it's called resolution state ID, And inside this field, it will show you this correlates with this, and this correlates with this, and this correlates with this. So in order to use the resolution states and not get a 0 out of your report, you would either have to join the two the tables on top of each other, or you would have to make a replace statement that specified that a resolution state 0 equals a new resolution state 255 equals, and yeah. So the question could be which resolution state is 255. So in order to show you the one-to-one correlation, I'll just make a new resolution state here. So if we go out of this one again and into this one, I'll add a resolution state. I'll call it SCOM test. It's very, very good. And I will have the number 23 because it's my birthday. So that's the only reason. These numbers are arbitrary, but you can use whatever you want to. That's not taking in advance. It seems like we have 255 values or 8-bit. So yeah, make what you want if you need a new resolution state. But this is my one. I made the SCOM test. So if I go back into my SQL server and I execute my query again, I will now see that I have the resolution state 23, resolution state name, and there's no MP resource element ID because I made this myself. So it's not predefined, as you see here. So this is how to read in the database what work was made. So if you want to make documentation on what resolution states you have, why not take this one and make it into a report, and then it will always just be available from every browser. Or you can always, go in here and take that one. It's the same data. So you could, yeah. I don't know why you want to document it, because it's easy to look up, but maybe you do. Yeah. So, okay. Now, first order of business would be to go back to my SQL server and show you this. Now let's say I only want resolution state 0, 23, and 255. So I could go where resolution state in, and then you do these two and you make a lot of pairs, and you say 0, you do a comma, you do 255, do a comma, and you do the comma the correct way, yes, and you do 23. Now it should only show us what we want to see. So this could be one way of just looking at what we want to look and use this as a filter for our report. Just taking as an example. Let's say that we want to make an assignment for our very eager SCOM employees that are watching this video. So in this case, I would like to see only priority 2 cases from within our alert view. So this could be an assignment. Anyways, what we do is that we once we find this to be done, we take our code and we copy it into our software suite. So this would be our code. I don't want this one, so I'll just delete it. As you see, it's gone now. I don't want the MP and I don't want the shortcut ID. I'll just move these. And now it looks like this. I actually don't want the resolution state ID either. But now I have to remove this and it will give me an error. There's a different syntax because you cannot have a comma in front of the first one. So there we are. Resolution state is predefined. resolution state name is predefined. We are lacking actually one of these. There we are. So it's predefined, we don't care. We want this one actually. So I'll just, this is what we have. Let's say we want to build this into a report. So we'll take the active code, which is not a lot in this case, but it's only to show how to work with it. So we'll copy this one out and we'll go over to our third server, our Visual Studio Code server. And in here we will build a new project. We will select the report server project wizard. Just makes it easier. We will call it resolution state. Or nothing, because I accidentally hit enter. Anyways, that's fine. We won't call it anything. We know what it is. And nobody will ever be wiser. Yes. So in order to connect to our SQL database, we need to edit in where it's at. And in this case, we could just go refresh. It will now select a list of servers. But if I want an easier way, I would actually write in the server name, and it would be easier, and it would be more. What's the word I'm looking for? More. It will be quicker. Sorry. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. So, but now I have connected to the database, and I will now connect to the instance on the database. Now I'll test my connection. It's a success. That's great. So we have a connection string here. Yes, we'll go on. This is our query string. Just copy what we just made, which is not a lot, but it works. So how do we want to present this data? Should it be tabular or should it be a matrix? In our case, tabular makes more sense. So it wants the details here, and we'll just put them down into the details field, and we'll do finish. And finish. So, if I preview this, we will see that it's pretty much the same thing as it was inside the SQL database. So, of course, I can make this a lot more pretty by just doing simple things, as in giving it enough room to grow. Already now it will look a lot prettier. So yeah. Now what I could do is, for example, I'm not fully satisfied with the table layout it puts in, so I'll just delete it. I'm not fully satisfied with that one. This is my surface that I can build on, but I can make it as big as I want to, so this is fine. Now I can insert a table, like the other table, yes, but still in another. Then I can delete some columns, so we have one column only. Then I go over to my data set, and then I add in my resolution state. And then I need to hit it the right way. This is all wrong. Like that. That would be right. So now my resolution state is getting out here. As you see, shrip. So I can go in and I can, under text box properties, I can make it a little bit bigger. I can make it bold. It is a header, so to speak. Let's go 14. I'm feeling very lucky today. And white, cause why not? But it's disappeared. Yes, it will do that because it's white. So, but what we can do now is we can fill the box up with black. And if we do that, we can now see our white. This is quite good. Now this one looks better already, I would say. So great thing about Visual Studio is that once we have made one, we can copy it. So if I put in this one now, I use the blue bar thingy. As you see, it gets the same color scheme. So if I open this up and I open this up, I will be able to preview that, and then it looks like this. So it looks a lot better than when we started, I would say. But in our case, we would like to say that the alignment here would be horizontal left. Yes, please. And preview. Oh, now the numbers are over here and resolution state is over here. Yeah, but what if could we just instead, I don't know, put this one over here? No, but we can delete this one and then just add it again, and it will still get the same thingies. So this case, it looks like this. How it makes, I don't know, sense, more sense, whatever. Anyways, what we can do with this is that we could schedule it, we could export it, or we can save this one as resolution states. Put it somewhere where I can easily find it, and this is again just a test environment, which means that I can be very generous with my file placements and stuff, because I'm pretty sure these machines will be nuked very soon. So yeah. Well, what we have here is this is our report actually, and as you can see up here, here is our actual SQL text. It's not a lot, but this is what it is. The rest would be formatting. So yeah. This is all something we don't have to write down. So this is great. But what we can do with this one file is that we can copy it and we can take it in here inside our so yeah, great. We can paste it here, and we can go into our reporting services. I have that all open already right here. And in here we can upload. And there is the resolution state. So if I put this one up here, we should have something called resolution state. It's right there, and I can run it, and it's there. So if I give this URL to somebody connected to my reporting services instance, everybody would be able to run this and see every resolution state we have in SCOM. This is pretty boring information to give out, but it's there, and it's useful for whomever wants to use it. So this concludes first part of my presentation. Hi, and welcome to SCOMathon. This is part 2 of reporting and dashboards. I would like to start out now with an exercise. I would like to show, or for you to show me, that you can build a report showing all our open alerts. And also that you can build a report that shows all the closed alerts. This is almost the same report, it's only a slight filtering that will make the difference. But we will need to make this filtering at the SQL level. You could build in a switch into your report or something similar, and then you would be able to do the same thing. But in this exercise, it's gonna be built into the SQL code directly. Good luck. So, to recap after having our exercise, you should now have a better understanding of the following topics: building custom reports and dashboards, finding the data in the SQL database, sorting and refining SQL data, importing queries to Visual Studio, and importing custom reports to Operation Manager. Remember, there is a lot of data in these two SQL databases, and you are only limited by your imagination in how you choose to use it. Thank you for listening to me. It's been my absolute pleasure to be able to present my reporting and dashboards exercises to you. I hope that you like them and that you are able to actually succeed in getting data from your SQL database into your SCOM environment. It's been my pleasure. Thank you. Bye.